Sambuka Black, an illustrated adventure fantasy by Dielle and Jeff. Chapter 3. A Gift from Gran. Back home, Kara stepped into the kitchen and was immediately showered with kisses and enveloped in the smell of sweet ancient incense. Gran was dressed in an outlandish outfit combining a velvet choker ringed with long exquisite feathers, a tightly laced bustier with a short skirt and a swishy ruffled petticoat, brightly striped stockings, dizzyingly high-heeled boots, and, perched on her head, a hat topped with an elaborate, fully functioning miniature windmill. She was holding an intricately painted and finely engraved vase that displayed an array of magnificent spirally flowers, which she promptly presented. "They're beautiful!" Kara gasped as she took the gift. "Where did you find them?" "I bought this wonderful little glass greenhouse last season." She gestured something the size of a vegetable basket. "Very expensive, but now I can always have flowers with me. I think these would look especially perfect in your bedroom window." Gran's mischievous smile flew past Mom and Dad, but Kara caught it and grinned back. Up in her room, she carefully set the fragrant bouquet on her desk, then turned around to find Gran offering a cloth bundle tied with string. Taking the package, Kara hopped onto her bed, eagerly unwrapped it, and found herself gazing at a book entitled Secret Life of Dragons. "Go on, open it," nudged Gran, sitting down beside her, eyes a-twinkle. She turned back the cover, revealing blank pages with a circular compartment cut through them. Cradled inside was a clear corked bottle containing a tiny egg. Kara stared, not letting herself believe it. "Is it?" was all she was able to say. Her grandmother carefully removed the bottle and poured the egg out onto the bedspread, where it assumed its actual cantaloupe size. "Oh, Gran!" breathed Kara, entranced by the shimmering, swirly purple patterns. After a moment of shared wonder, Gran broke the silence. "Now, we have to keep this a secret, just between us," she said in an uncharacteristically foreboding tone. "And you have to be very careful. If the egg is out of the bottle for too long, it will hatch, and you know what that would mean, right?" "Yeah, that would be bad," Kara replied, equally somber. "So keep practicing with other things, and don't take it out again until you're an expert, okay?" "I will, I promise. I'll practice every day." Gran enchanted the egg back into the bottle and handed it to Kara, who lunged for her middle, hugging with all her might. "Ooh, too tight. I have to pee like a waterfall." She grimaced theatrically, then ran out the door, the little windmill blade spinning. "I love your hat," giggled Kara, before she again stared wondrously at her best present ever. She lifted her gaze at the sound of Gran's returning footsteps, but was startled to hear her mother's voice. Quickly reaching behind her back, she stuffed the bottle under the edge of her pillow, just as Mom appeared. "Hey, bashful birthday girl. Everyone's... Oh, what's that?" Kara looked guilty, then glanced at the open book at the foot of her bed. "Oh, yeah, it's from Gran. A hidden treasure book. You know, for hiding things." Very mysterious. Well, your guests have arrived and are anxious to see the lady of the day. Would you be willing to grace us with your presence?" Kara broke into a wide smile. "Okay." She bounced off the bed and followed Mom out of the room. There was a small clink, then raucous cheers downstairs erupted with the opening chorus of the traditional dirge. Fists pounded out the rhythm, and each line was accented by a hefty, house-shaking stomp. "Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Soon the reaper will arrive. Chop your head off with his scythe. 1 year older, getting colder. You are one step closer to rigor mortis claiming you. Happy birthday! Happy birthday! In a coffin graveyard bound, they will plant you underground. 1 year older, getting colder. 6 feet down and 2 feet wide, worms will dine upon your hide. Happy birthday! Happy birthday! One short life is all you get, better make the best of it. Happy birthday! Happy birthday!" The party went on as daylight faded to moonlight, and the merry voices slowly wound down to parting wishes and goodbyes. "Good night, everyone. Thank you for everything." Kara's excitement, however, was anything but fading, as she ran up to her room and jumped on the bed, humming the birthday song. She pulled back the pillow and gasped, then looked over the side of the bed and saw the broken bottle and pieces of purple eggshell. "Oh no! It fell!" Surveying the room, she saw bare stems and Gran's vase and a torn-open cornhusk doll with its grain innards scattered on the floor. Faint, echoey peeping made her freeze in place. She spied movement under some dirty clothes as footsteps began clunking up the stairs. Quickly throwing more laundry on top of the pile, she spun toward the door, just hoping the whole thing stayed still. Dad knocked, but came in without waiting and slid the well-read storybook from its place on the shelf. "Hey, Half-Pint, ready for our annual poem reading?" "Dad!" Kara, distracted with the dragon situation, was rather curt. "Don't you think that story is a bit naive? People are good, dragons are bad. Is this really the message we want to be sending?" Her hands emphatically on her hips, she was doing her best to get rid of her father when she heard the peeping again. Dad looked baffled. She tried to drown out the high-pitched chirps. "I mean," her voice rising, "what did the dragon do anyway? He sat on a mountaintop. He wailed too loudly. Maybe he was just lonely. Ever think of that?" Her eyes darted side to side, but the peeping seemed to have stopped. Dad stared, befuddled, then started to move in reverse. "Okay, I'll just back away slowly." He cautiously set the book down on her desk. Maybe you're too grown up for bedtime stories now." "I'm sorry. I guess I'm just a little overwhelmed. You know, getting older and everything." "Yeah, I guess you're more of a 5/8 pint now, huh?" he said with a hopeful smile. "Dad," she groaned, rolling her eyes. "Well, good night then, young lady. Oh, you're not too old for some extra birthday cookies, are you?" He pulled a full plate out from behind his back and placed it on the desk as well. "Never. Thanks, Dad. Good night." "Happy dreams." The moment the door closed, Kara dropped to her knees and began gingerly picking through socks and shirts when suddenly a little purple dragon popped out. "Oh!" she exclaimed. He cocked his head, scrambled straight up over Kara's shoulder, clothes flying, and skidded down her back. She whirled around to see him backing up, mouth open, bouncing up and down on all fours as if on hot coals. He was skinny and bony with raptor-like claws, a pointy snout, wrinkly folded wings, and a snaking spear-tipped tail. He looked toothy and vicious, but his movements were puppyish and uncoordinated as he slid into the wall, then darted behind the dresser. Kara sprang to her feet, expecting a dangerous, messy, noisy chase. Instead, the little lizard scampered back out, squatted, wiggled, then leaped into her arms, peeping happily and licking her laughing face. "Ha ha ha ha! Shh! Little dragon! Shh! Yes, that's you, little dragon!" Her giggles lowered to a whisper. "We have to be quiet." Dragon's peeping became softer. He nuzzled her awestruck face, licked her ear, sniffed the air a couple of times, and then, slowly but purposefully, stretched his neck in the direction of the cookies. "You're hungry. Of course you're hungry. I guess the flowers were just an appetizer, huh? You want a cookie? Cookie." She sat down on the bed with him, and he munched ecstatically. "Cookie, cookie, cookie!" Kara jumped, shocked to hear actual words. She tried to shush him again, but then drew back. She plugged her ears, and the ambient munching noise was muffled, but Dragon's voice was still clear. "Cookie, cookie, cookie!" She plugged her ears again, just to make sure. "Wow!" Astonishment filled her. "I can hear your thoughts." Then, like a punch in the stomach, "Gran's gonna kill me. I am in so much trouble." She gently pet and scratched him as he finished a couple more cookies. "But you are so pretty," she crooned. He stretched his neck as his peeps transitioned into soft trills. Then yawning, his tiny forked tongue curled like a kitten's. He crawled under the covers and Kara followed, snuggling up behind him. Dawn was breaking through the window as Dad poked his head in the door. "Morning, 3/4 pint," he announced, adding, "Thought you might have grown even more overnight." Kara jerked awake, frozen in surprise, as Dragon stirred under the covers. She hastily recovered, kicking her feet to camouflage his movement, and stammered, I always have happy feet in the morning." Dad gave her a weird look, but "Breakfast is ready," was all that came out. He closed the door, quizzically muttering to himself, "Happy feet?" Kara got out of bed and pantomimed to Dragon to stay put, whispering, "I'll be back," as she put the last cookie in front of him and went out. He watched her go, sitting up tall with the sheet draped over his head. Later, when Kara returned, he was in the same spot but lying down, waiting, his chin resting on his front paws, sheet still on his head, cookie still in front of him. "Too bad birthdays only come once a year," she said, sitting on the bed and stroking his neck. "It's back to your chores again today. Bug patrol. Mom and Dad say I'm an expert. You know, they have to go work down the road today. You want to come help me?" Dragon was excited by all the wonderful attention and began crunching enthusiastically on the cookie. End of chapter 3.